What's up, everyone? My name is Alan, founder and consultant at For Marketing, and welcome back to Braze for Technical Marketers. You get an email, but you don't get an email because happy birthday. If you have a use case where you need to abort messages to users in or outside of a specific age range, then you found the perfect video. First, let's get straight to it. Here is the full code for that solution. And also full transparency, yes, this was written using the AI Liquid Assistant. However, unless you fully understand what's going on inside the code, we would not recommend simply copy and pasting this code to use for your own campaigns. So let's break down this code section by section to fully understand what's happening here. So the first thing that we're doing is creating our own variable called birth date. And this is simply to avoid having to write out this full syntax custom attribute date of birth. It's easier, it avoids syntax issues, and it just looks cleaner. However, this step is optional, and referencing the data by the full name will work perfectly fine. And another note that I wanted to make is that there is actually a standard profile attribute for birth date that's reserved. So if you go to personalization, default attributes, and go to date of birth, you can also store a user's birthday using this field right here, which is different than a custom attribute date of birth. However, the only reason we are using a custom attribute date of birth here is that when you go to preview and test, go to custom user, for some reason, birthday is not available as a testable field as a profile attribute. So that's why we had to use a custom attribute so we can plug in values and see what happens. Many teams can also choose to import the user's birthday as a custom attribute or as a standard attribute. It works very, very similarly. So just wanted to make a note there real quick. And final note, if you are following along and you would like to use date of birth as a custom attribute, it is possible that you may have to go to data settings, custom attributes, and create a custom attribute called date of birth. So click add custom attributes, date of birth, and you may have to create it in order for the Braze UI preview page to show the date of birth field. Moving on to the next section. So next we're checking to see, we're going to delete that real quick. And next, we're checking to see in this section if there's actually a value stored under birth date. And yes, this section can come before the first line of code right here, but it accomplishes the exact same result. Except this time we would have to check if there's a value for the custom attribute. So let's put that code back there. And if there is a value behind the variable birth date, then great. Do nothing. There's nothing in the if code. We'll just move on. However, otherwise or else, if there is no value behind the variable birth date, then we're going to abort the message and leave an abort message called no birth date available. After all, how can we determine someone's age if we don't know their birthday? Moving on to the next section. So here we are breaking down our birth date into 3 parts: year, month, and day. But what's with all this slicing? So first, before we look into the slice filter, we need to understand the structure of the birth date data, which is going to be an ISO 8601 format, ISO 8601 format, which is in the format YYYY-MM-DD. So an example value behind the variable birth date could be 2000-0713. So this is someone who's born on July 13th in the year 2000. And let's look specifically at this first line just to use as an example. So ignore all this code. This is just me writing some examples. But first, we are simply creating another variable called birth year, so we can store exactly just the birth year and not the full birth date. I'm going to actually move this to the top so we can use this as a reference. So imagine we have birth date equals this variable behind the scenes. And the birth year variable takes the full value behind birth date, which is 2000-07-13, but we are going to slice this value. So the slice filter, and the first number inside the slice filter, 0, represents where we should start slicing. 0 represents the very first character, so we are going to start at the very first character, 2, and including 2. And the 4 represents how many characters the filter should return. So this 4 is telling us grab the first 4 characters starting from the very first character. So starting from the very first character, grab the first 4 character, and that returns 2000, which is exactly the birth year. So birth year behind the scenes returns 2000. And instead of writing out our code like this, let's actually give it a let's actually try rendering out birth year. And then let's click preview. Go to custom user and we'll assign a custom birthday, but use the same value that we used earlier. And you'll see that birth year 2000 is being printed. So that's good. That confirms, right? Birth year colon. And let's look at it one more time. So birth year is 2000. Great. And lastly, why are we adding 0 to this value? Isn't 2000 plus 0 equal 2000? So why do we need this extra step? We have to realize that a timestamp variable is actually a string because the value behind it, 2000-07-13, is actually surrounded in quotes. So meaning the 2000 that we saw under birth year is not actually a number 2000, but it's actually a string 2000. And although it might work to mathematically compare two strings later in our calculation, it's best practice to first convert this variable birth date into a number. And also another word for converting variable types is called casting. So it's best practice to convert a string into the number before we do any mathematical comparisons. The way we convert a string into a number is by adding 0 to the string. And fun fact, to convert a number back into a string, we append an empty character just like this. Now, we're using a lot of technical terms here, so please feel free to leave any questions in the comments. And if you're really dedicated and curious to learn more about Liquid, please check out our Liquid for Technical Marketers program that'll make this use case feel like a piece of cake. So back to Liquid, we've broken down the birth year and we're doing the exact same thing for birth month and date. So I'll go ahead and erase my notes, but we're doing the exact same thing for birth month, birth day. Birth month starts at the 5th index. So let me write it out just so we could visualize it again. So 2000-07013. Starting at the 5th index means 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 5th index counting from 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then that is the 5th index or the 6th character of the string. And then it's saying grab 2 characters after this one. So starting from the 5th index, which is right here, we're going to grab 2. And that successfully avoids the hyphens around it. And then same exact thing for birthday. We're going to start at the 8th index. So let me count again. I'm going to count better this time. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Starting from 8, give me 2 characters after that, and that returns birthday. And of course, doesn't hurt to always check. So birth month. And let's do the same thing for birth day. Let's preview. And hopefully we see 07 and 13. Both look great. And actually, we should see 07, but because we added 0 to it, it got converted to a number. And because we're displaying the number, we're not going to show the leading 0 in front of it. And every single date, if they're written in ISO 8601 format, will have exactly 10 characters that follow this exact same structure: 4 year dash 2 month dash 2 date. So before we move on to the next section, I'm going to go ahead and erase all our notes so we don't get that mixed up. So what's happening here is we are doing a very similar step, but to our current timestamp. And the next section will explain why that's necessary. But in Liquid, there's a special keyword called now that will always return the current timestamp. So for example, right now we'll return 2025, January 9th, and it is 22:21:04 seconds as soon as I set that. And if I return now again, it'll be 9 seconds. If I return now again, it's 12 seconds right now. I'm looking at my clock on my laptop. So the now timestamp is always changing, returning that timestamp of that exact moment. And the date filter right here is used to convert that long timestamp into a desired time format. So once again, to write it out now might look like 2025 0109 T for time 2221 and 43 as of that current timestamp. But the date filter returns it into a much cleaner format. And the filters that are being used right now are converting it to exactly matching our year, month, and date structure. So this one will return it as a 4-number year. This one will return as a 2-number month. And this one will return it as a 2-number date. And then the same thing we're doing by adding 0 to all of them, converting it from a string to a number. Let's do the same thing that we did just to check. So we are going to check current year. Whoops, current is spelled wrong. We're going to check current month. And then let's check current day. And we should see 2025, 01, and it says 10. And I believe that's because the now timestamp is brought back in UTC, and UTC right now is actually the 10th. So that actually sounds right. Liquid, and then also deleting all my notes so we don't get confused. The next section, we are finally ready to do some math to figure out your age. And the math is very simple. Your age is simply your current year minus your birth year. So for someone whose birthday is on 2007 13, the math would be 2025 minus 2000 equals 25. That user will be 25 years old, except they're not 25 years old because their birthday hasn't passed yet this year. So they would still be 24 until July 13th. So this simple calculation works for users whose birthday already passed that year. However, if the birthday didn't pass that year, that's when the next section comes in handy. So in the next section, there are 2 simple checks that we are making here. The first check is if the current month is less than the birth month. And now you might see why we needed to have the variables stored separately and formatted into strings. So if the current month, January, is less than my birth month, July, then we're going to take our age and subtract 1 from that age calculation we did previously. It's a simple fix. I'm not 25 yet, but I'll be 24. So I'll be 25 minus 1 equals 24. That's what's happening here because my current month is actually less than my birth month. Let's say that my birthday is actually in January. So in that case, my current month is equal to my birth month, but I'm actually still not 25. I still need to wait 4 more days until 25. So if the current month, January, is equal to my birth month, January, and the current day, which is the 9th, is less than my birthday. So my birthday hasn't happened yet. It's happening in 4 days. Then we apply the same exact age adjustment. We're going to take 25 from our simple calculation and then subtract 1 to adjust so that we can get the right age. But if you are in this category, that means your birthday is happening during that month, which is very exciting. And notice how we're using an AND operator in this second logic. So both this logic as well as this logic has to be true. So if the current day is actually greater than your birthday, so let's say today happened to be the 20th, which is greater than my birthday of the 13th, then we will not be making this adjustment because you actually already passed your birthday for the year. So before we go on to the next section, I'm going to go ahead and delete all my notes once again just to clean things up. And the last section is our age logic. So here it says if the user's age, now that we've figured out their age exactly down to the date, the user's age is less than 18 or greater than 45. Or in other words, if the user's age is outside of the range 18 to 45 inclusive, then they will be aborted from this message. So that means that our intended audience for this message is only users who are in between the ages of 18 plus 45 18 to 45 years old. So even if you're 17 years and 364 days old, you will not receive this message. And let's go ahead and test that just to wrap up this video. So here we are back in the preview test and custom page. And right now our message is aborted because we don't have a value. But let's go back and use our example birth date, 2000 July 13th, which makes this user 24 years old. And that's why we see our message intended audience, because we actually qualify for this age range. Let's say we gave ourselves 100 years of age, and we are no longer in that age range. So you can see that this message is aborting. So 100 is a little extreme. What makes somebody 18 years old exactly today? I believe that should be 2007, January 09. So today would be their 18th birthday. And because of that, they qualify for this email or this message. And that's why they're seeing this message. But if their birthday didn't quite happen, so it's maybe the 10th their birthday is, this is happening because of the UTC issue that I mentioned earlier. So in this program, they think that today is actually the 10th. Let's say it didn't happen for sure in 2 days. Then because their birthday is on the 11th, then you see that it's aborting the message. And what makes someone 45 years old today is if they're born on 1980. So this birth date would actually make a user turn 45 today. However, I realized the age range is actually greater than 45, meaning they can actually qualify for this message for 1 full year. But if we added just 1 more year to this user, then they will no longer qualify. And they will actually qualify up until the very last date of their 45th year. But as soon as they turn 46, they will no longer qualify for this age range. Thank you for watching and see you next time.